Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Spirit of Beverly Bolden's YouTube channel. This reading doesn't necessarily have a title, or is it specifically for light workers, star seeds, peace workers, those of faith. I'm not saying that this reading is for people who are degenerates, but it's just a reading for people who are alive. And I feel an amazing clearing, an amazing calm, an amazing serenity that is moving through the environment right now. And so I want to dedicate this reading to speak to, address, give better understanding to what this energy is about. On an intuitive, subconscious level, I feel like it is a calm before the storm. The storm being what you decide to do with your goodness, with your strength, with your darkness, with your weakness, with your flaws. It's a spiritual fork in the road. And there is a sense of it also being critical as to the steps that you take right now are going to impact you in a very big way for a very long time. And so let's see what the body tarot has to say about that. Right here. I love it already. Two of fire. Dominance. So what I sense that to mean is that, well, my hand touched the starseed deck, so I think that one will be next. I feel like what that card is saying is that depending on the choice that you make or the way that you decide to go down the road, the journey of the rest of your life at this moment, whatever you decide right now, you pick the right road, you're going to dominate every obstacle, every gift, every talent, anything that you touch, you're going to dominate. You decide how you dominate. You decide what type of ruler you are going to be, but you will dominate. Let's go one more time with the starseed. Okay. You know, I have my other two decks that include the F-bomb, and I don't want to use that deck tonight because the pureness and the authenticity of this energy that I feel right now is not to be infused with any type of expletives. So I have the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. And then it says jump in, Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. So this is with regards to the two of fire, and fire is about the root chakra. Fire is about, you can cook with fire, you can burn a house down. So you can use it to construct or destruct. right? Constructing would be improving or manifesting or just cooking those things, those different ideas and projects to make them turn into a meal. Or it can be burn away those things that have been in the recipe that made the recipe allow you to survive, but now it's time to get those ingredients so that you could add ingredients that make the meal flourish, right? This is for the golden children, the inner child, the tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. Remember I said I didn't want to use those other decks because they're swearing in them, because the energy, like I said, is like the tenderness and innocence of the inner child, which was born pure. And then it says jump in. Say yes to change. Say yes to being at a fork in the road. Don't feel, oh my God, which way do I go? What do I do? At this stage of the game, you know what your choices are. You know what your options are. And just jump in and dominate, right? Let's see what the herbal astrology deck has. So right over here, we have skull cap for stillness. And we have blue lotus in reverse, intuition. Okay, so let's start with the body tarot. Two of fire. Dominance, partnership, respect. In this deck, the twos represent partnerships, not necessarily romantic relationships, but the dynamic when two people interact with each other. A fire partnership is often characterized by one partner being the builder or more dominant of the two. You hope to be careful not to be a quieter party, feel oppressed or subdued by the one who is louder and perhaps more confident. When that lesson of mutual respect is learned, this is a good pairing for getting creative endeavors off the ground and for bringing the balance project to market. Which part of you is going to dominate in order to move down that fork in the road? The part of you that has been in survival mode with those same ingredients that at one point were necessary to get you to this point, or the part of you that recognizes that, hey, we can do this better, we can make this a better dish, we can make this a better life. Which part is going to dominate? Which part is going to be bolder and louder and braver and lead the way? Not in a abusive manner, so as to not recognize the fact that, hey, these old recipes are what got us to this point. I know in my culture, there's a set of individuals or people in black culture that are very intolerant of the foods that a lot of the southern folks used to eat, chitlins and hog maws and these things that were given to them, and they made them in the mills. And you know, we understand now how harmful they are to the body in the long run. But at the same time, had those people not survived and made a way to make chitlins a delicacy now that the descendants of the colonizer are now paying to eat, if they had not found a way to use those ingredients to survive, we would not be here. So the new or the young can benefit from the old ways that led us to this point. Okay. And let's see what the... No, that's not how it went. The starseed came next, right? And we were to jump in. Let's see where we at. Okay. So the jump in and Andromedan energy, and you can look up Andromedan energy, is capital ANDROMEDAN. Those are types of star seeds. And the starseed soul inquiry is, how can you be more adventurous? How are you being called to jump right on in and leap? Andromeda is a spiral galaxy, the closest galaxy to the Milky Way. It's believed that Andromedan starseeds are a group of beings who love their freedom, very adaptable. They have a strong willingness and ability to change and go with the flow, to find calm in the chaos, to swim with the tides. This card is here to encourage you to do the same. Perhaps you have a significant goal or opportunity ahead of you. If so, you're being guided to jump in. Don't wait for permission. Don't stall until you feel ready. Take a deep breath, a good old run up, and jump right in. Life bends for the courageous, and courageous is what you're being called to be. You're already facing the right direction. The only thing left to do is leap. You'll figure out the details as you go along. Things may not always be smooth sailing. Life on earth really is. However, it's the rougher seas that teach us how to sail with glory. And once you know that, you can navigate any sea, ocean, or storm. The Andromedans want you to fall in love with surfing the waves of life, to seek more adventures, to embrace your own adaptability and find a way to be the calm in the chaos. You didn't come to earth to be passive. You came to earth to truly live. Now take a good run and leap. Because you are facing the fork in the road means that you've been given a divine opportunity to choose. You're already there. You have gathered up enough experience that whatever waves or storms may come your way as you make the decision to travel this journey. See, when you come to the fork in the road is continue doing the same thing or do what is going to be different, yet at the same time you pretty much know from the inside that it's going to expand your being, right? This is no time to play safe. You have the ability to adapt. You have made it this far. You have been through a lot. Those are the victories that you already have in your pocket. And the defeats just means that you tried. Next we have the golden children. Okay. The star seed soul inquires, how can you treat yourself or others more tenderly? How can you be compassionate for your own ways? How can you be more compassionate for the mistakes that you've made? How can you be more compassionate for the poor choices that you've made in your life? Because you are still here. How can you be more compassionate for the things that you have done in survival mode? How can you be more tender with yourself in a world that is hell-bent in many ways to be cruel? Golden children, children of the sun, are highly advanced, extremely intelligent souls who are incarnating increasingly on planet Earth. They have little or no personal karma and possess incredible gifts and intuitive abilities. Golden children are born with a very clear mission. Many remember it, from a young age and begin answering and sharing it early in life. You've been doing this for a minute. It's just that people didn't understand. And those who did understand and didn't nurture it felt some type of, in some cases it was who does she think he or she is, or that child needs to stay in its place, or why didn't I get that gift? And so they couldn't even give you what they didn't have to give. Due to their unique intelligence, they may find themselves easily bored at school. Most have never incarnated on earth before, and so if they're not supported in the right way, they struggle with physical life here. They're often referred to as the new humans. If you pull this card, it may be a sign that you're being called to mother, father, or nurture a child. You may be called to tend to your own inner child, a creative idea or project. Once again, there's that jumping in, being more adventurous. A new beginning, the fork in the road. To treat yourself or the new beginning with sweet, tender love. To nurture and nourish it. To give it every chance to grow and reach adulthood. To encourage it, to water it, to see the world through the innocence of a child. To see yourself and all others as innocent children. To remember that deep down everyone is trying their best, and if they're treated with the tender heart, they'll not harden as they journey through the great adventure called life. So this new direction that you are strongly contemplating on traveling, it's like a newborn baby. And there's this fear of maybe I might not get it right. So there's this instinct to retreat back to the old ways. But they no longer serve you. And it's like you are now comfortable in your discomfort. You've outgrown those shoes. So now you're stuck at this fork in the road. Jump in. Be adventurous. Nurture that purity, that innocence, those rare gifts of the inner child, so that it not get bored in the school of life. Okay. And so now we have skull cap, which is stillness. And skull cap upright is stillness after the storm. Let go of control. Trust in life. Surrender to the divine plan. Break open. Break open is that jump in again. I feel like busting loose. Busting loose. Give me the beat, y'all. Give me the beat, y'all. Like, it's like jump onto the dance floor of life and know that you will adapt to the way that the DJ spins and changes the tempo and the rhythm fluctuates and like it's waves in the ocean and it's sharks in the sea and it's all these things going on, but you have gathered enough dance move to be able to just hang out till the party is over. I spoke about a storm before, so you have gone through a storm and you have made it. Everyone didn't make it. And now there is a calm going on. The stillness after the storm, right? Because now when you take the step into this new journey, or you decide to have a new journey with the same ingredients from the old recipe, there's going to be a storm one way or the other. But if you make the choice to combine new ingredients with the ingredients of the old ways that worked really well, you're going to dominate the dance floor. Skullcap's genus name, Scularia, comes from the Latin scularia, meaning small dish or tray. How interesting is that I was talking about recipes, and that's what skullcap means in Latin, a small dish or a tray. This describes the shape of the calyx at the base of the flowers. Flowers. Beauty. Innocence. Purity. Strength. As delicate as flowers are, no matter how much you step on or trample on them, no matter how much the waves or the storm or the winds blow, they still come back again. They don't run, they don't hide, they remain. In traditional Chinese medicine, the roots of the species Scularia Haculinus has been widely used for more than 2,000 years to treat cancer, lung and respiratory infections, colds, bacterial pneumonia, liver imbalances, hypertension, insomnia, inflammation, and diarrhea. The Cherokee and other North American tribal peoples use skullcap to ceremonially initiate young girls into womanhood. The Cherokee created decoctions of the roots to treat breast pain, menstrual pain, kidney problems, and to stimulate the reproductive system post-birth. The enocunia use an infusion of the powdered roots to prevent smallpox and to keep the throat clear. During the 19th and 20th centuries, the eclectic physicians prescribed skullcap for nervousness, exhaustion, muscular spasms, heart disorders, hysteria, uncontrollable muscular tremors, and convulsions. Now, as the chemist of Beverly's Beauty Blessings, these descriptions of what skullcap is used for is what I know them to be. Not disputing anything that the Indian tribes were using. Spiritually, skullcap is used to bind oaths and consecrate commitments. It is a useful ally to initiate rituals, imprinting the vows made to oneself or between lovers. So I think about the two of fire being about partnership between two. That partnership can be romantic, it can be platonic, it can be a business partnership, it can be a project, a creative project partnership, or it can be, as I'm using it, to infer a partnership with yourself, to consecrate this agreement with yourself to walk down the right direction of the fork in the road. You have to do these things because there is the physical mind and there is the higher mind. And the physical mind always wants comfort. It wants to do what it's been doing, what it knows it sees change as a threat. So the higher mind has to kick in. So these two parts of yourself need to have a discussion. The higher mind needs to say what it has to say. The physical mind needs to say what it has to say. And then there has to be one part of you that is more loud and more boisterous and more understanding of what jumping in with the innocence and pureness of a child that is here to make things happen in a more beneficial way for society is what the assignment is. It's not about doing how we've been doing it before, because that's how we was doing it before. And what is that going to change? It is a useful ally to initiate the rituals, imprinting the vows made to oneself or between lovers. Okay. Skullcap is ruled by Pluto. We know Pluto is about transformation. The archetype representing your will and your power. Your will and your power. Dominance. Pluto. Scorpion. Stubbornness. Determination. Those are the attributes that were your always, that got you in situations and arguments that were not to your benefit, more than likely due to unhealed wounds and traumas. But now you recognize these things about yourself, and stubbornness and determination can be used. Keep that in the recipe, but use them in a way. Get stubborn about not retreating and going back to old ways. Be determined to stay on the dance floor, to stay in the adventure, no matter what waves and what storms and what obstacles come your way. You've done battle before, and you're still standing better than you were before. Not making the same immature decisions that you made before. You got this. The guidance of this card is that the storm has passed. You've just weathered or are weathering a storm. Ground deeply into the present moment. Be still right now. That's what Skullcap is about. You're at the fork in the road, and stand there. You have every right to stand there and decide how you're going to jump in. You're going to jump in an area of the water or the pool that's 3 feet. You're going to jump in at the part that's 4 or 5. Or you're going to go all the way to the 9 feet and jump in. You're not going to do anything that's going to hurt yourself. But you recognize that it's time to get into the water and swim. If you feel fear, find consolation in stillness as it readapts. So find peace in knowing that you're at the fork of the road and you're not panicking, that you're going to use your mind, body, and soul and higher self, and also include those lower aspects of you because they also have a reason. And you're going to make a valid decision for yourself moving forward. The medicine of Scorpion embodies the stillness of darkness. It's dark because you don't know what's going to happen, but you know what's going to happen if you continue doing things the way you've been doing. And it assists by accepting sudden change with ease and calm. If you're feeling exhausted, drained, or depleted, this is the time to pause and withdraw to your cave. You over it to a certain extent. Excuse me, you're over to a certain extent because that battle it took you through it, right? And so now, with the tenderness and innocence and gentleness of an inner child, as the skull cup says, be still as you go into your cave, as you go into your soul, as you go into your spirit, and nurture what needs nurturing. Guide what needs guidance. Be compassionate with what needs compassion. And let it know that we're about to move again, but right now I understand that you need a moment to regroup, and I'm here. I'm here to make sure that you get the rest that you need before we rev up those engines and go in the deep end. Don't rush, reflect. Take the time to birth a new structure that supports a new version of you. So it's not like, okay, just jump in like, a wild person with no plan or no understanding of, what you're doing. Regroup, recharge, and flow. The last card we have is the Blue Lotus. And that was in reverse. And that's about intuition. So let's see what that says. And I used to look at reverse as a card. I didn't want to see the cards in reverse. And when I start getting cards not in reverse that originally I was getting in reverse, I was pleased because it let me know that I had done or taken whatever steps necessary to spiritually turn the beat around. So reverse it's like if you go to the doctor and you have these symptoms and the doctor tells you, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's wrong. You have more confusion, you are more misguided, you're more perplexed and unaware than when you first got there. But when the doctor can tell you exactly what's wrong, you may not like the diagnosis, but it gives you a roadmap or a way to fix things. Pain or adversity is not an indication that things are over. It's an indication that things can get better. So Blue Lotus in reverse is suppressed intuition, disbelief, disconnection, moodiness, lack of inspiration, hidden intention, blockage of psychic powers. The Blue Lotus is a very magical plant, right? And right now, you are experiencing suppressed intuition, disbelief, disconnection, moodiness, lack of inspiration, hidden intentions, blockage of psychic powers. Number one, because of the state of the world. Social media has it where you can get information in a day that people back in the day would not have had access to in a lifetime. There's all this lights, camera, actions, hustle, grind, and if you're not taking the time to go into your tenderness and your innocence and taking the time to be still There's nowhere in the world that you're going to be able to be using your intuition, having a conversation between your physical mind and your higher mind, and standing at that fork in the road and making the right decision before you jump in. So that makes perfect sense. And these things are also being experienced because the old you is dominating right now. It's been here longer. And so it's more reactive and more impulsive. Those are the ways that you behave in survival mode. The astrological ruler of Blue Lotus is the sun and the moon. So you have the balance of both. You have the male and the female aspect assisting you in this part of your intuition that needs to be awakened in order to make this decision with regards to the fork in the road. So it's not just mind, body, and soul, but aspects of each. The intuition of each. Those things that you can't put your finger on, but you just know. I started off this reading saying, I feel this pureness, this calm. And then here comes one of the cards from the Starseed deck, the Golden Child, tenderness, innocence. Because I've been taking time to be still, to meditate, to be with myself, to go within and look at the old recipe and not or no longer judge myself for having added this ingredient, but understand that this is the ingredient that was necessary at a time, and then know, okay, I appreciate you. But now it's time to regroup so that this adventure, this journey can continue in a more decisive way for such a time as this. The sacred and mystical blue lotus, regarded as the flower of enlightenment, is an ethnobotanical treasure that has been recorded in ancient scriptures as a hair oil and is revered as an ancestral flower in the mythological creation stories. Blue lotus is a water lily, best known for powers of euphoria, intuition, rejuvenation, and aphrodisia. Blue lotus was associated with I just want to stop and say that when it says euphoria and aphrodisia, I thought about the two of fire, and so that the partnership doesn't have to be romantic, but it can be. Those are the things that you experience when you're in a new partnership with someone. Euphoria, aphrodisiac, like sexual energy, and which brings about rejuvenation. Blue lotus was associated with the Egyptian sun god Ra, the ruler and bringer of light. It was used in religious rites and ceremonies led by shamanic priests to induce a trance state so one could commune with the gods. It was also used in funeral ceremonies after the death of a loved one, as blue lotus is said to assist the soul in entering the light. So you have that scorpionic energy from the skull cap, right? So there's a funeral part, the death of a partnership where one was loud and one was more boisterous, and the one who was quiet was silenced, and not understanding that tenderness and innocence has a voice too that needs to be heard because of the benefit of that ingredient to the partnership. Death of aspects of the old recipe. Death of the old recipe, because once you add different ingredients, you have a new dish, a new meal to eat, a new set of nourishing ideas and ways and just a good plate of food that you've never had before. The ancient Maya also revered the blue lotus and other water lilies and referred to it as Nahalto, Nahayatel, Nahuatl, as Quetzalazo, Rahakad. That's a big Indian word, meaning precious water flower. Blue lotus, although revered as the flower of the sun, embodies both solar and lunar elements chemically, the duality. You have the chemical infusion of solar and lunar to escort you before you move through whichever side of the fork in the road you are moving through, but also once you get on your journey, you have the intuition and the balance of both male and female to help you adapt, to help you dominate. It contains a natural antispasmodic and relaxant called Lucifera, the moon, which represents the moon in parentheses, along with aperine, which produces a sense of euphoria, and bliss, which is the sun in parentheses. So as you are still, there's going to be the euphoric, intuitive rejuvenation and aphrodisiac type qualities of being still and being in peace and nurturing yourself from the inside out. And there's also going to be the same set of feelings as you jump in to this new adventure. These alkaloids, among other medicinal components, bring about pain relief, stress relief, and lucid awareness. So you're going to experience these things because the pain of yesteryear and the pain of the new birth of you call for this type of compassion. Change is not easy. Let's not even think that for a moment. It's serious stuff, right? I get it. I just want to add some more oil on here. I feel like the lavender sage oil is what's being called for. Yeah. Alright. Lavender sage with pure sage. I feel like right now I'm in the still part of this reading myself. And by the way, tonight you are listening to 432 hertz healing frequency sound healing meditation for emotional healing. And let's go back and get that started again. I play the sound frequency because it adds another dimension to the reading. I notice that when I'm doing my guided meditations, as soon as I turn them on, that music just takes my soul to a level of tranquility, like candy to a baby. So the guidance for this card, the Blue Lotus, is a direct doorway of a mediator into the world of the gods. The perfected balance that it bestows us assists us in bridging and refining the divine connection between the heart and the brain. This is what will happen in the stillness before you decide to move forward. There's going to be a balance between the heart and the brain. A lot of times we are in conflict because the heart is like, oh, but love, 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 and my feelings, and trauma, 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 and that type of stuff. And the brain is like, yeah, but look, this what makes sense. This what makes sense. Sometimes one is right, sometimes one is wrong, sometimes both are right. But there has to be a dominance, a louder one, a bolder one that says, okay, this is what you were saying, heart, and this is what you were saying, brain. We have to come to an agreement that benefits the whole. And with the energies of the blue lotus, which is sun and moon, male and female, it's going to balance the heart and the brain. Blue lotus today is assisting you in widening the portals of your intuitive powers, granting you access to the realms of inner knowledge held within the great mystery. And so the golden child information talked about this child being bored in school because it's a golden child. It was sent here, or you were sent here with no karma. You here to do some things, and the people who you were gifted to as in family didn't really get you or doesn't get you, so they're not nurturing you right. So now that you are an adult, you are to reparent your inner child with innocence and purity, that the divine connection between the heart and mind, the brain, still happen. Like everything happened for a reason. You are not off the course. You are not late. It's not that it should have happened a long time ago. You are right where you're supposed to be. And because you are, your intuitive powers is granting you access to the realms of inner knowledge held within the great mystery. And that's going to stop that inner child, that golden child, from being bored, because now you're going to walk down that part of the fork in the road that's going to give it reasons beyond reasons, like, hey, I like this adventure. Let's keep going. Let's see what else we can find. That's being in the darkness and not being afraid, because you know that you have the constitution, you have the battle scars, you have the resiliency to make it. And so now it's exciting. Remember, the lotus rises from the depths of muddy waters, untouched and impeccable, to blossom into majestic beauty. Like I said, you've been through the wars, and you still standing, and you still look good. Don't allow the muddy waters of the blossoming process to suppress your intuition and belief in yourself. Don't allow the fact that your people used to eat chitlins and hog maws and chicken feet and tripe and didn't learn how to read, had shame, guilt, depression, mental illness, trauma, etc., etc. Don't allow the muddy waters of the mistakes that you have made, the missteps, don't allow those muddy waters to lead you to believe that you are not standing still as one of the golden children, as one of the pure gifts to this society. It doesn't matter what you've been through. There is no reason for you to not believe in yourself. You are here for a reason. Trust the process and believe in the mystery. Believe in the mystery. The mystery is not scary. It's just not known. Listen deeply to the guardians of mystery as you unfold from darkness. Once again, that's what I did. I understood that there was a mysterious about the serenity and the purity and the calm that I was feeling. And because I understood that, I didn't know what it was, but I knew what it was that I was feeling because I have gone within. And because of that, I was able to use my higher self to know, once again, don't use the swearing cards right now. Trust the process. Trust your psychic ability. Trust your intuition and be guided by it. The perfect example. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here at the Spirit of Beverly Bolden YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And if it pleases you, I've left my Cash App, my PayPal, and my Venmo information. If you would like to leave a donation to support the channel. Be well.